Have you ever had that feeling at your tech job that you just don't quite fit? That the things you're really good at, the deep thinking, just isn't what's wanted? Well, we're going to get real about this. This isn't about bashing any company or country, but about the real structural reasons why so many brilliant people start looking for the door. And right off the bat, I need you to hear this. If you've been feeling that sense of professional frustration, that something's just off, you are absolutely not imagining it.
And here is the most important part. That feeling isn't a sign that you're failing. It's not about you. It's structural. It is built into the very system you're working in.
Okay, so let's dig into that feeling, right? Let's put a name to it. In this first part, we're going to diagnose that nagging sense that your best talents are just being left on the table.
This really gets to the heart of it. If you're what we might call a deep thinker, you're someone who loves to take problems apart, think from the ground up, but your job just wants you to follow a process. Well, it's more than just a bad fit. It's completely draining. You start to feel invisible, like a ghost in the machine.
So let's just be crystal clear. If that little voice in your head has ever said, maybe I'm the problem, I want you to tell it to be quiet. Nothing is wrong with you. What you're experiencing is a fundamental mismatch.
So what is this system we keep talking about? Let's break down this conflict, because it really is a case of the system versus the individual.
So in a huge part of the tech world, especially in IT services, the main way of doing business is what people call the body shop model. And yeah, the name's a little blunt, but it's actually pretty descriptive. The number one goal is to maximize billable hours. It's about getting repeatable tasks done efficiently. The system values predictable output, not necessarily deep, game-changing insights. And when you put it side by side like this, wow, the conflict just jumps right out at you. The model needs things like billing hours and obedience. Deep thinkers need slow, careful thought and the freedom to question things. They're basically opposites. And look, this isn't a judgment. It's not about good versus bad. It's just incompatible.
So when you're in a system that doesn't fit, what happens? Well, you naturally start looking around for one that does. And that brings us to why the West, especially the US, can seem so appealing. Let's get into that. Okay, this is the key difference right here. And it's not about which country has smarter people. Not at all. It's about what the system is built to reward. Broadly speaking, a lot of the Indian IT ecosystem is optimized for reliable delivery, getting the project done. In contrast, US tech culture, when it's working right, is optimized for high-risk innovation.
So what does a culture that's all about innovation actually reward? Well, it rewards things like problem framing, not just solving the problem, but figuring out the right problem to solve. It rewards building something new, a sense of ownership, individual impact, and making those big, long-term bets. For a deep thinker, reading this list is like a breath of fresh air. It's basically oxygen. And this is the great irony in all of this. The culture often produces these incredible first principles thinkers, but the corporate structure frequently doesn't have enough of the right containers. The roles, the projects where that kind of thinking is actually valued and put to use. It's like having a garage full of race cars, but only having city streets to drive them on. Now, all of this leads to a question that gets asked all the time. But, as we're about to see, it might just be the wrong question entirely. This is a huge turning point in how we should be thinking about this whole thing.
This is it, right? This is the headline on all the brain drain articles. It's the question that frames the entire debate around geography, around patriotism, around talent leaving the country. But what if that question is actually leading us down the wrong path? What if, by focusing on the where, we miss the why?
See? This is the reframe. The pull isn't geographic, it's environmental. People aren't necessarily running to the USA, they're running toward any place that values the way their brain works. It just so happens that, statistically, there are more of those environments in the US right now. This changes everything. It's not about nationality anymore, it's about professional culture. And that idea brings us to our last and honestly our most powerful point. If the environment is what really matters, then the power is in your hands to choose the right role, not just the right zip code.
I mean, think about it like this. You could be an absolute rock star in India if you land a great architecture or strategy role. Or you could move halfway across the world to the US and be totally miserable in a maintenance job where you're just judged on how many tickets you close. It's the work that matters, not the flag on the building.
So what does a thriving environment actually look like? Well, it's a place that gives you autonomy, a place with less noise, less hierarchy,
and fewer pointless meetings. It's an environment where you get to work on meaningful problems and have some control over your own pace. This right here, this is your checklist for your next job hunt.
So here it is, the big takeaway. Location is secondary. The design of your role is primary. It's time to stop asking, where should I go, and start asking, what kind of role is actually built for the way that I think? Because when you find that role, you found your professional home, no matter what the address is. The only question left is, where will you start looking?